you're blaming the National Weather System for failing to warn about the catastrophic floods that are happening, and not the people that defunded the National Weather System is actually wild.
But you haven't even heard a damn word out of the alleged president's mouth about all of the flooding that's taking place.
The floods in Texas are not Trump's fault. They're not MAGA's fault. But the high death toll is exactly what MAGA voted for. Don't get it twisted here. It's not their fault that the floods happened, but it is their fault that the National Weather Service had their federal funding cut, which then impacts how much staff they have to do forecasting.
When tragedy strikes, you'd think the country would come together, but in America, even a flood turns political. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Trending Pulse Worldwide. I'm so glad you're here, even though today's topic is heavy. I'm Amy, and on this channel, I break down the stories everyone's talking about, even when it gets uncomfortable. Now, the Texas floods have taken lives, destroyed homes, and shaken entire communities. But instead of focus, we are watching blame fly everywhere. Trump, Biden, MAGA, Democrats, everybody's pointing fingers. So let's take a deeper look into what people are saying.
So let's get this straight, guys. For months, meteorologists, experts, and media outlets warned that Donald Trump's budget cuts to the National Weather Service were reckless, and that slashing funding and gutting staff would directly hurt their ability to predict severe storms, that it would put lives in danger. And now, right on cue, a deadly flood hits Texas, and state officials are turning around and blaming the Weather Service for inaccurate forecast. I mean, are you f***ing me? This is what happens when you hollow out public safety in the name of politics and cruelty. The NWS isn't some luxury. It's not a partisan tool. It's the reason families get warnings in time. It's the reason people evacuate. It's the reason kids make it home from school before the storm hits. But Donald Trump's second term has made it crystal clear. If a program protects people and saves lives but doesn't align with his agenda or help his image, he'll gut it, no matter who it hurts. And then, when disaster strikes, just like the experts said it would, they blame the very people that they've undercut. It's scapegoating at its most cowardly. This flood was tragic, but it wasn't just a freak accident of nature, guys. It was a failure of leadership, a predictable consequence of dismantling the very systems designed to keep us safe. If you're more concerned with scoring political points than funding the people who literally track deadly storms for a living, then you are the danger to public safety.
So, of course, the people that don't like Donald J. Trump is now saying that the weather advisory and the people in Curry County didn't get alerted in enough time because of the budget cuts due to the NOAA, the NOAA. But what they're not saying is that those budget cuts don't take into effect until 2026. How is it Trump's fault? But what they're actually not talking about is how Donald J. Trump is on his way to visit Texas, and how he signed, and I'm going to read it straight off of Google, how he signed a major disaster declaration on July 6th, which would provide federal funding to the county, to state and local agencies for recovery efforts, also temporary housing and home repairs. They don't want to talk about that because you know why? To the people that don't like Donald J. Trump, he's the big bad wolf, and America is Little Miss Red Riding Hood.
So the Texas floods are tragic enough, but now we have some in the news media and social media trying to blame President Trump and the government for these floods. Now, there is governmental cloud seeding and all of that.
Some say Trump's defunding of the weather forecast services made things worse. Others say the alert did go out, but nobody heard them. Meanwhile, MAGA supporters are flipping the blame on Biden or the left, and Democrats are reminding everyone who they voted for.
The delusional MAGA people are trying to literally blame Democrats for flooding. I'm not even kidding. It's like weather manipulations, and they're trying to write legislation to stop injecting the skies. How long is it before you try to prosecute and deport the weather. How long is it before you try to blame gravity on Nancy Pelosi and try to say it's like some big gravity conspiracy? I'd say that you should know how stupid you sound, but you know, and you're just choosing it anyway. You're angry, cowardly little overcompensators who have to tune into MAGA so hard because you know deep down that you're a disappointment.
You deserve to know the truth about the flash floods in Texas. Every left-wing media outlet is saying that Doge cuts, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk are responsible because apparently they're saying nobody got alerts leading up to this devastating act of nature. Well, let's see what the facts say. They received 9 alerts leading up to the flash flood. Their first alert came a day prior, which is July 3rd at 1:18 p.m. The National Weather System of San Antonio released a heavy rain and flooding warning. That same day at around 6 p.m., WPC issues a mesoscale discussion, 6 to 10 inches of rain possible. On July 3rd again at 6:27, they issued another warning saying catastrophic flash floods possible. On July 4th at 12:41 a.m., another alert let out saying flash flood watch issued for Kerr County. Then at 1:14 a.m., flash flood warning issued again. But this is where everything went crazy, because at 4:03 a.m., they issued one of the last major alerts, which was the flash flood emergency for Guadalupe River. And within the next 3 hours, they received 3 more alerts. The issue that happened here was that there were no alarm systems. This had nothing to do with Doge or Donald Trump. They had no sirens pre-built in those areas, which that might have been one of the reasons why people weren't waking up at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning when they were receiving these messages. The flash flood happened when the majority of people were asleep. And by the time they got one of the major alerts at 4:03 a.m., water was at 2 feet. From 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., water rose to 20 feet. And from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., water rose to a staggering 36 feet. 36 feet within 3 hours. No one is prepared for something like that. Everyone received alerts. Everyone received messages on their cell phones. What happened was a horrible act of nature that people were not going to escape from. And sadly, so many families have been affected by this, and our condolences go out to them.
Now, at the end of the day, lives were lost. People were caught off guard. Whether it was the timing, a lack of loud warnings, or broken system, families are grieving. And our hearts go to everyone affected by this horrific natural disaster. Look, blaming politicians might feel justified in the heat of the moment. And if key services like weather forecasting were underfunded, we need to talk about that. But let's not pretend this is just about politics. This is about preparedness. It's about systems meant to protect people failing them. People received alerts, but while they were asleep, there were no sirens, no community-wide bells, just texts at 3 a.m. And now, instead of action, people are arguing over who to blame. And Trump supporters are saying he's not Mother Nature. But opponents are saying he weakened the very agencies that help us prepare for Mother Nature. So where does the truth lies? Somewhere in the middle. And you have to stop turning every tragedy into a war between red and blue. Real people are dying, and political noises won't save the next family. So here's my question to you. Is this really about Trump versus Biden, or about a system that is failing its people when it matters most? So guys, let's have this conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me hear what you have to say about this entire situation. And before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more raw, real, and trending stories right here on Trending Pulse Worldwide. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe.